Hello guys. So let's discuss high tide flags today. Maybe one more minute and I will start chatting. I hope I am audible and everyone is doing well. Oh Nelly. Oh Nelly. Oh Nelly. All good, all good. Thanks. Yes, Sandesh, all good. All right. So what I'm gonna do is start with my this one. So I now have five. I am 20% done of the challenge. Uh, and out of those five, I have one de-risked myself. So, so here's what de-risking does to your portfolio or to your this one, right? So, imagine I had taken a position in IMCO Elecon with a stop loss of 3.4%, but I already have in half of the position gotten twice more than that, right? Now imagine if the other half goes and hits my stop loss. Uh, what that means is that I still am in profit, right? So that means let's just giving you an example. Let's say um, I had a total risk of, let's say just an example, 100 रुपीज़ का मेरा रिस्क था IMCO एलेकॉन में, बट 100 रुपीज़ मैंने ऑलरेडी बना लिया है बिकॉज 50% का ट्वाइस दैट रिस्क इज़ ऑलरेडी 100 रुपीज़, राइट? So basically de-risking yourself uh, strategically adds up. Okay. So now I am open in PPL, IFCI, Omex and GMDC. GMDC आज लिया सुबह सुबह morning session पे, and this was an O'Neill breakout, although it's quartered, but I'm fine to hold that, and I will let the stop loss decide. And I also shared you how I make the, I mean Zerodha mein how I set both the take profit as well as the stop loss, right? So it's right now for all my positions I don't do like that, but because this is a something very strict and has like rules and all, so I wanted to show you how to do that. Okay. So a really huge day today in the market, and yeah, banks were sort of the ones which made a lot of noise, and a lot of HDFC lovers in the group, I am sure. And why not? Because this has been such a great performer over the years, like in like 20 years period of time, has been a huge wealth creator for so many participants. But I just wanted to start off by telling you guys that, guys, there is no reason to have FOMO, right? Because देखो आपको HDFC क्यों चाहिए? Because you think that HDFC is gonna make me this kind of money, right? Double होएगा या triple होएगा, whatever. Whenever if HDFC is going to do that, it will break out of the base first, and so the base breakout will only happen at around 1700, 1800, and this time it actually looks like the base breakout might happen because these are the patterns which come over and over, and this is an inverse head and shoulder pattern, right? So the earliest entry is right now A bars. A bars is basically anticipation at the base of right shoulder. ठीक है? But like you will still not be missing a lot if you enter on the confirmation of this base breakout. And let's say it is not gonna do that, then तो इधर आके भी फायदा नहीं है, उधर आके भी फायदा नहीं है, no? You are anyways making 5 to 10% only. So just to start with that, because I thought this was something a very useful information for all of you guys. So So let's go through a couple of names. I have added today's names and today's list also, and this uh, इसका लिंक आप लोगों के पास ऑलरेडी है, ठीक है? तो what I'll do is I'll go one by one, and today I will also talk about some of the things which you have to look for uh, and reject that base. Okay, so one of the things that is that you have to reject small bases माने anything less than 2 weeks or 10 days, ठीक है? तो couple of examples, the only pivot base breakout which जहाँ से यहाँ से जो गया ना, which did not materialize, many of them you will see that they had a small base, right? So that is something. And the second thing, I think someone in the group also asked today, that why I did not like that is because it has a wedge up base. Okay, so these are the two things, and as and when we go forward in this journey, I will be adding couple of more things which you should see before taking any entry, right? And similarly, these are the things which we should see. So you can see that low volumes on pullback, orderly volume, and now today I'm going to add something, that volumes on breakout, right? So this is something which is really important, and I have like experienced this. Like I said, see, learning is also a thing of experience. Like books से कितना भी पढ़ सकते हैं, कितना भी है, but like you will, your brain will not register that unless and until you like experience that, right? So I have like in the last couple of months I've experienced this volume thingy so much, so that now I will not take a setup which does not have a volume, like um, so let's go and look at couple of names today. So Angel One, again, like this breakout did not materialize till now. Again, it hasn't ये अभी fail नहीं हुआ है, but it's just that it might take some more time to set up more before it eventually breaks out, right? uh, Guys, you guys can stop me and ask questions, okay? Like if that is something, like for example, if you had so देखिए, Apollo Microsystems is something which I really like because it has a sort of a true pole, not less than not more than 25%, and now we sort of have a pivot, and anything which breaks out of this would be like a cheap pivot entry, right? And also when you see that when this thing happened, although this is a 5% stock, but something like in a sector which has a huge tailwinds, and also see that the volumes are very very less. So even BSC would have been a smaller base. Matlab, this is like still we can consider, given the fact that like okay, whatever, but it has already like at the later stage possibly, and also a small base. Okay, so be wary of these things. Now Cupid is something which I really like because see, it has all the characteristics of a great high tide flag. फर्स्ट इज़ दैट इट इज़ एक्चुअली अ नेसेंट अप ट्रेंड. तो नेसेंट काहे बोल रहा हूँ मैं इसको, बिकॉज इसका मतलब शुरुआत हुआ ही है टाइप्स, राइट? सो इमेजिन लाइक आफ्टर सच अ लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ nobody caring about who and what Cupid was, suddenly like there is a trigger and people are starting to care about this. So this is a very nascent uptrend, माने अभी ये इसका स्टेज टू बस शुरू ही हुआ है. इट्स नॉट लाइक आफ्टर रनिंग 500% वी आर डूइंग क्यूपिड, राइट? सो given all of these things makes Cupid a really high probability setup. Like एक होता है हाई प्रोबेबिलिटी, ये रियली हाई प्रोबेबिलिटी है, ठीक है? तो इवन देन देर इज अ डिफरेंस, एंड वॉल्यूम्स ड्राई अप, नॉट गिविंग इवन लाइक आई थिंक कि कितना 10-12% ही दे रहा है ऊपर से, right? 12% from the top, like not even 20-25, which is still okay, right? So there is everything to like about Cupid, and Cupid के ऊपर मेरा है GTT इधर पे, right? So this is ultra high probability. हाय बताओ, हाँ. कौन सा वाला, ये दो? नहीं, देखो मैं क्या बता रहा हूँ ना कि इसको नहीं करने से ही अच्छा है, राइट? सी, द थिंग इज, अगेन आई विल, मैं आपको क्या समझाता हूँ कि देखिए, यू ऑलवेज हैव टू थिंक, यू ऑलवेज क्वेश्चन दिस, ओके? कि अच्छा, मैं चीट पिवट क्यों ले रहा हूँ एज अपोज टू ओनिल पिवट? तो ओनिल पिवट पे आप क्यों ले रहे हो? बिकॉज इसमें कन्फर्मेशन ज़्यादा है, ठीक है? तो तो चीट पिवट से ब्रेकआउट करके वो ओनिल पिवट पे फिर थोड़ा समटाइम इट माइट स्पेंड, राइट? बट नाउ यू हैव टू आस्क कि ओके, what is it I am gaining by entering early? You are only gaining couple of points of difference, right? So that is true. That is true. But like, let's say by some reason it fails to break out. ठीक है? Your point is right. So had the guy been here, अगर ये 20% नीचे चीट मिलता मेरे को, या 15% नीचे चीट मिलता, विच मीन्स दैट मेरे को 15% तो एटलीस्ट श्योर है, इवन इफ डजेंट ब्रेक आउट, राइट? सो देन जस्ट सी रिस्क रिवॉर्ड सिनेरियो क्या मस्त हो जा रहा है राइट नाउ। आपको मतलब क्या ही मिल रहा है? 5% के लिए आप इतना रिस्क उठा लोगे कि इवन बिफोर ब्रेकआउट यू गेट इन, राइट? यू गेट द पॉइंट। एंड लेट्स से इवन इवन द पॉइंट यू मेड दैट ओके, यहाँ पे टाइट आपका रिस्क मिल रहा है, लेट्स से द ब्रेकआउट कैंडल हैज़ ए 4 और 5% वो वाला, देन ब्रेकआउट कैंडल के नीचे भी आप रख के सिमिलर रिस्क ले सकते हो। समझ में आ रहा है? सो दैट इज समथिंग विच यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड, ठीक है? ग्रेट क्वेश्चन दो, थैंक्स। नाउ DB reality is not as good as stupid but still a very good stock, and plus being from a sector which is reality, I would rate it as high probability, right? एंड इसका देखिए आप कितना बढ़िया, मतलब ऐसा लग रहा है किसी ने लाइन खींचा है यहाँ पे, मतलब लाइन खींच के ऐसे मतलब प्राइस एक्शन बनाया है। um, yeah, so I'm again getting better. I like it. I like it in the sense because देखिए the volumes are like now diminishing, and at some point of time like it will shot up again, like that's my take. See, electrocast again, the same thing happened, that this base was too small for it to uh, uh, make a big move. But again, like the thing is that it will probably now go in this ascending channel and eventually break out of this ascending channel, right? So that we'll call it BOB, base bullish on bullish breakout. So always make sure that you have this a bigger breakout. Fact is doing well, and we can consider this as a pivot, like because this is a previous high जहाँ से निकल के आया नीचे, and then this cheat pivot setup would be even better if we get another round of contraction, okay? If अगर वो हुआ तो this will be a very high probability setup. It will also give you a smaller stop loss as well, okay? Also, like the fertilizer sector is like something which is probably gonna do really well. So Jikre is a very nice flag, and I like it because this is almost a true pole. Also a very hot sector, also nascent माने कि मतलब ये बस शुरू ही हो रहा है, right? It's not after 400 like percent up. Like for example, if you see something like um, TWL already has done so much. So I mean, again, like the question is like इतना तो चला गया और कितना जाएगा, looms there in some way, right? But things like Jikre and all has just started. So again, it's getting tighter and tighter, and this is like inside bar pe inside bar, inside bar pe inside bar. And so because although it's a small base, if you see the fact that this has been a true pole, तो स्मॉल बेस को काउंटर करने के लिए ये ट्रू पोल है, मतलब ट्रू पोल है तो यू कैन स्टिल से ओके फाइन, लाइक यू नो इट्स अ ट्रू पोल, एंड देन इट्स द फर्स्ट सॉर्ट ऑफ वो, you can still go, is my point. So GCRE would be a high probability. So GMDC I took the trade, although हाँ बताओ। Sure. हम्म। हाँ हाँ, तो देखिए एक डिफरेंस आपको मैं बता रहा हूँ यहाँ पे, ठीक है? फैक्ट में जो है ना, आपको क्लीन ओनिल पिवट नहीं मिल रहा है। आप बताओ यहाँ पे क्लीन ओनिल पिवट कहाँ है? हाँ, समझ रहे हो? तो यहाँ पे दिस इज एक्चुअली नॉट एन ओनिल पिवट, इसमें दिस फैक्ट ओनली स्पेंट लाइक पॉसिबली ए मिनट और टू, एंड देन बप सारा वो आ गया. सो दिस इज एक्चुअली नॉट अ ग्रेट डेटा पॉइंट फॉर यू टू से दिस इज ओनिल पिवट. तो इसमें अगर अब मेरे को बनाना ही है, आप मेरे को फोर्स कर रहे हो कि एकदम गन पॉइंट रख के, मैं बोलूँगा ये है ओनिल पिवट, राइट? So that's the difference. So but in Cupid there is a clean line. Clean मतलब भाई यही है, one horizontal line. So that's the difference, right? But again, very good question, man. So GMDC में आज क्या हुआ? I got in early, 9:21. My uh, manual entry was around 440 something. And again, I am now biased, but it looks like it's gonna break out very soon, right? So तो यहाँ पे because my entry was a little further up, and because our rule suggests that 10% के ऊपर नहीं जाना है, तो मैंने बस यहाँ पे डाल दिया like 400 ish, because that's also like a round number. So that's my, like, I almost have a max stop loss here, right? Yes, yes. And you see, I also want everyone to dispel the belief that upper week माने it's not great. Bro, ऐसा नहीं है. Upper weeks आएंगे ना, because this is at the resistance. Resistance में थोड़े आपको lower weeks मिलेंगे. Lower upper weeks तो resistance में तो आपको lower weeks ही मिले, sorry, upper weeks ही मिलेंगे. So you see how PPL and IFKI broke out today violently despite having upper weeks couple of days ago. So ऐसा होता है मतलब, ठीक है. So again, that's a good one. Orient Green Power, although it's a very small company, but has everything, almost everything of a great HTF. True Pole, VCP, and so yeah, matlab, if anyone wants to get this, already put a GTT, because when this guy shoots, you will not get, because ये 5 circuit वाले लोग हैं. सर्किट वाले लोग एंट्री मस्त इतना easily नहीं देते हैं. So you see high rect. High rect is now similar to, you can say, either fact, or there was another name, electrocast steel, because now it is like, the mast itself is sloping up, right? So right now we will not I will not show how to enter here, but you can already sort of think ki the best kind of entry would be the ACR entry. So ACR mane ascending channel reversal, that's also one kind of sort of setup to think about. So whenever it touches the support, then that's your entry, right? Now that can also be two kind of entry, one is anticipation and one is like confirmation. So IGFL, now IGFL sort of broke out today, but again this is a very small base, ठीक है. now small base को counter क्या करेगा, मैं बोला एक, अगर आपके पास true pole है तो वो counter करेगा. तो this guy is a true, almost a true pole, right? Every day bearing like a 2 days in between here, we had a higher high and higher low candle, right? So this setup could still work better than a couple of others which we saw. And also the other thing is, uh, the thrust, the start of the pole also has very high volumes, almost, I think this is, um why is this not I think I think this was a huge volume. mm, okay, anyways, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is this might still work, but again, always make sure that little bit longer to hoega, then we have got again this ITI. So ITI is getting better and better. Again, like this might not be a true high tide flag because थोड़ा लंबा हो जाएगा, but ये IHTF है, Indian HTF है, पक्का. Like great pole, huge strength, volumes, and then right now we have a pakka like great pivot here, and inverse head and shoulder also inside the this one. I would be very tempted to take this. Again, we've also talked about Jai Balaji. The only thing is I would wait for a clean breakout here, not enter inside the base, because of the fact that it has already run like 600%. Jindal photo, with each passing day, this guy is getting better and better and better, right? So this is the pivot which I will take, and this would also then be uh, and there the first kind of entry would also open, which will be like a DTL based breakout entry. Okay, and here DTL based breakout we can trade because we have a higher high, sorry, higher low. So the presence of a higher low sort of makes the थोड़ा सा probability बढ़ा देता है, ऐसा लगता है मेरे को. Now Kalyan Jewelers also has a presentable entry here, that this would be like a cheat entry. um, yeah, so Maharashtra Seamless has given a very nice follow through. Now, like, but again, this was also a very small base, but breakout, very nice volumes, and was also almost a very true pole, right? And also, this is like a pipe and stuff. It's very, very, um, the sectoral strengths were really good, and those things will also matter, you know. MCX, okay, okay. Uh, I think I think this will eventually move, but generally, again, like the same thing, no, like a बहुत ही small base. Modi San, I was actually very tempted to take an entry today, and this is actually a very nice setup. This is a true pole, like, and forget about the color of this volume. The color aisa aaya because it sort of closed above the open, but this is actually a green volume, okay? And so a true pole, about 70% of length, and a very orderly consolidation or a pullback, volumes volumes decreasing on the pullback, and we also have the triple B firing today, which means that the strength in the base is coming back, right? So um, any sort of price crossing above 116.65 can be taken as an entry. Yes, of course. Yes, I almost always anticipate entries. That has worked sometime for me, also hasn't worked sometime. But mostly, I have seen that the best anticipations. So the one which we already are using, like ABOT, right? ABBOT. The one which in Omex, okay? Who am I talking to? Mukund, is it? Okay, great. So you are not a part of HTF, I assume. No, 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 not no, 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 not a problem. I just because I have explained this to those guys, and if you were in the group and you did not know this, I would have been very angry on you. So that's why I asked. So what we do is right now we have like a four kind of entry. One is a DTL West brace breakout. One is an O'Neill pivot entry. One is a cheat entry, and one is a ABUT entry. So ABUT is the entry wherein we anticipate and enter even before the base breakout. Okay. So what I'll do is yeah, there is a couple of names where ABUT is already in. So if you wait, then when I get there, then I will take up this question. Okay. Great, great. So Murudeshwar is like setting up. Niakal is a true pole, like TRUE, true वाला पोल, राइट? लाइक दिस इज, इससे बढ़िया पोल नहीं मिलेगा आपको. नाउ यहाँ पे एनी काइंड ऑफ मास्ट फॉर्मेशन, then I will be looking for all sort of entries, right? So that's why this is like flagged, because this has the potential to be a really great high tide flag entry. Now this is something which I do not like, and I also have just entered today, wedging up or ascending base inside the mast, right? So यहाँ पे आपको क्या मिला निटको पे? So when this guy was in here till here, let me just let me just play this out for you what I mean. So when Nitco was here, it was setting up really well. Okay, we didn't know at that time कि ये सब होने वाला है. But the thing is, okay, fine. So you at least have, okay. So at this point of time, you have 2 points which you can join. In fact, it's actually only 1 point, possible point, and then this would possibly be a cheat pivot of sorts. Now, as you go on, okay, right. So this is now a pivot high, and so you can then say that okay, pivot high के ऊपर जाएगा तो sort of breakout हो जाएगा, and then as the days go on it becomes better and better. It looks like a double bottom base, right? So it actually is a very nice entry right now. So the moment this happens, it pokes but it again closes. Now what I can do is I can then anticipate this. So if you guys remember, we actually already anticipated this kind of a price action here, and Nitco Bhaiya is doing exactly that, right? So then it came, it hit the resistance, sorry, support, and now it's going back. So generally what I have seen is that when this sort of thing occur, what happens is the price action goes like this and eventually will find some resistance here, and then so this would be actually the T1, the contraction 1 and then contraction 2, and then breakout होएगा तो होएगा, might not even break out also. Okay, so this is the problem I have while trading a cheat pivot, which actually has a slope, right? So that's why I don't like it. Now, doesn't mean that one cannot trade this. One can always trade this as a ACR kind of a thing, which is that whenever it reaches the bottom of the channel, that's your low risk entry. Okay, but again, that kind of entry we are not taking here. So we will just avoid, and the only kind of entry right now open would be when this guy crosses this. That would be the O'Neill pivot entry. So um, so Mukund, this is the kind of entry which where I anticipate. Okay, so here's the theory behind that. Here's the thought behind that. So whenever we enter a flag or whenever we trade a breakout, we generally try to see if there is a volatility contraction in the pattern in the base, right? So which is the base here? The base is the flag mast, and there is a clean volatility contraction in here, which is T1, T2 and T3. Now as the number of T's inside the base increases, the probability of a breakout also increases, in the sense कि the time taken for the price to break out also shortens as the number of T's increases. Okay, now one can of course anticipate at the first T, but that would be an early entry, because the possibility or the probability that it can go for 2 and 30 is also very high, right? So what we are optimizing when we are trading breakout is the timing कि घुसते ही मेरे को move चाहिए. So that optimization is not good when you anticipate here. So anticipating an entry at the third T is works really well, because third T के बाद almost, let's say, if you analyze 100 HTFs or 100 VCPs, only about 10 or less than 10 VCPs go for a fourth contraction. Most 90% of them will break out after the third T or breakdown, right? That's why third T is in my opinion a very sweet spot where you can anticipate and have an early entry, so that you are getting a price which is much better than the O'Neill pivot. You are also getting a very small stop loss, and you are also getting a move very soon as you enter, right? So this entry I call an ABOT entry, ABBOT, which stands for anticipation at the base of the third T. So Orient Ceratec is also something which is setting up. Now you see the base is like little bigger, yeah, and although not a true pole, but still one can trade because all the other characteristics are still present here. PPL, now you see PPL, what happened? PPL, my entry was on this day, On this day, it sort of chicked me, and then it came back. But since I had a stop loss about 380, or I'm pretty sure below this, and so like after 2 days, we actually had a breakout, right? So these things will happen. uh, One learning is also that, you should trust your stops, and yeah, trusting your stops will, yeah, and like whatever risk you have put, you just accept that risk, because without accepting the risk, you will not be able to make money. So hi Priyanka. So this is actually when I entered, that was 2T. अभी ये 3T हो गया. 1, 2, 3. फर्स्ट टी. फ्राइडे कैंडल माने ये वाला. हाँ, तो देखिए, ऐसा है. The ABUT setup, according to the ABUT setup, the entry is on once you are sure that there is a pivot low. But on Friday, we did not have a pivot low. We had a pivot. We knew that this candle is a pivot low only after today, because today's candle closed above. I mean, the low was today's candle was higher than Friday's candle. Only then you knew that okay, ये तो 30 का pivot low था. तो Friday was not an entry still. Hmm. Yes, then you could have taken an entry, because then you are sure that this is the third T, and third T का pivot low आ गया. Then you could have taken an entry, and that would have been classified as a ABUT. Great. So Ratan India Enterprise, I love this. Although the poll is not it's not 70% or so, but I think it's a mid cap company, and 68% मान सकते हैं हम, ठीक है. And almost a true poll, ठीक है. And I also love this guy because this, see, there are a couple of things which come together here, and I'll tell you what. This is a breakout. I mean, this क्या बोलते हैं इसको, ये जो ब्रेकआउट है, ये अभी बहुत ही फ्रेश ब्रेकआउट है, आफ्टर ब्रेकआउट ऑफ अ ह्यूज बेस, ठीक है. तो दिस इज एक्चुअली अ पुल बैक आफ्टर अ ह्यूज ब्रेकआउट, ठीक है. तो माने कि दिस ब्रेकआउट हैज़ लेग्स. तो कितना कितना लंबा लेग्स, आपको मैं जस्ट, दिस इज टाइम पास. आई मीन, दिस इज वन वे टू एक्सट्रापोलेट 38 rupees from the breakout point, or 120%. So even if I say 38 rupees, it has some legs at least, right? So from that angle also, this is a very good setup. This is a nascent uptrend, ठीक है. And also I think energy sector से है, तो that's like, I'm not sure, but oh no, ये तो enterprise है. uh, uh, ये ओके, ये ड्रोन बनाता है. हाँ, तो like anyways, very, I think it's a hot sector or whatever. So all of those things make this a little high probability setup, ठीक है. And now I actually had a क्या बोलते हैं इसको, ये अलर्ट आज ट्रिगर हो गया मेरा. ना द अलर्ट कैसे मैं रखा था, आप देखिए, दिस इज द ब्रेकआउट कैंडल, एंड दिस होल चुक 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 इज बेसिकली गोइंग साइडवेज, and basically digesting whatever it had made here, okay. And now if you see today's candle is actually the highest close, sort of like it hasn't broken out of this, but it has also closed above a lot of ये high, ये क्या बोलते हैं इसको, upper wicks, right? So this, I mean, again, like this kind, there is no entry which we defined in our stuff today, but just telling you that today could have been a early anticipatory entry of sorts, ठीक है. But yeah, the O'Neill pivot entry would be possibly ab above that. Now, now this is what also one can do. One can already make a ascending base like this, ascending channel, and I will not be surprised if this guy moves like this for some time, okay, um, if this guy moves like this for some time, and at some point of time it actually breaks out, and in that case what it will look like is that this was a high tide flag who had a mast which was upsloping. And I am telling you, this happens with stocks which are very powerful. A simple example I'm going to give you is HBL Power. Now HBL Power at some point of time, ye dekho, ye, after sort of this breakout, this guy was making a base, but the base itself was upsloping, and then eventually the breakout came. So this kind of breakout I call a HPBOB, high probability bullish on bullish breakout. तो ये होता है किसके साथ, ये होता है stocks which are very strong, right? So I am anticipating something like that in Ratan India or whatever it is, right? Like possibility एक है. Solar India is again still like it's at मतलब around 25% वो first T uh, बना रहा है, and I like this because it's almost like a true flag, sorry, true pole barring this small this one. So Schwan Energy is another name I like because of it being from a very great high relative strength sector. And also the mast आप देखिए, like the the percentage it has come down from the top is also very small. Mane, it's not giving up so much gains. It actually got triggered for me today, but because I did not have any funds at the end of the day, it actually did not. I actually did not buy this. Like it didn't get bought. So, but it can, in my opinion, it can break out very soon. Talbros Auto is like the first टी के बाद ये घूम के जा रहा है, and apart from like इस 25 HTF के अलावा this is today would have been an entry, and that entry would have been called a pullback confirmation entry, PBC. Tata Investment is a great setup, like it's setting up, and I have my alert set. So the moment this guy crosses, I'll be alerted, and hopefully we'll see if we get a entry or not. बजाज हिंदुस्तान इज़ अ स्मॉल, ये इसका पोल बहुत ही स्मॉल है. सो मैनी पीपल विल प्रॉब्ली आर्ग्यू विथ मी दिस इज़ नॉट अ हाई टाइड फ्लैग. इट इज़ एक्चुअली नॉट अ हाई टाइड फ्लैग, but I still want to keep it here because this is, apart from the pole length, this is all the peak characteristics of a flag, possibly a high tide flag. Okay, because this is a true pole and very nice VCP, and yeah, like if there are 5 or 6 things, if you whenever you are trading a flag setup, if you make sure that you have all the 5 things in that, like your accuracy will be 90%. I am telling you that. I am also going to write a very elaborate article on that, so that like everyone can read that, and I'm just like still getting some data for that and some good examples of flag. Okay, but this has all the characteristics of it. Yes. Who's this? Priyank? Hi Ram. Huh. So what do you mean by how much percentage of base? Do you mean the base ka depth or the length of the base? Huh. So depth, okay, I'll tell you what. So the depth depends on the pole of the flag. Okay. So if the pole of the flag is 100%, then 25% of the depth is okay. Now that means that the ratio is 1/4, right? So अगर आपका flag 50% का है, तो then like 10 to 12% is good, decent, right? Yeah. So then comes Bike Hospital. Bike Hospital is also a very nice high tide flag, just that it's a very small, I think, micro cap guy. But this is all the characteristics of a good flag. Okay. And so one can actually trade this breakout. उसके बाद there will be this pivot का breakout. उसके बाद one can get this. Now, Dhunseri Investment, never heard about the company, but it's a good flag, good high tide flag. Barring the fact that I don't like this part, but this 1T आ गया, अभी hopefully second T आएगा, third T and then breakout. DRC undergoing first T, and the volume pattern is so great in this. With each day uh, of pulling back, the volumes are declining and declining, and at some point of time the volumes would be so slow, so small that वो negative पे तो नहीं जा सकता ना volume. तो then whatever volume comes in, that would be the buying volumes, because selling तो खत्म हो चुका होगा. So one point solution, again, I don't know what company is this and all, but has good characteristics of the flag, right? So this is one to complete, and possibly we have the pivot high to the of the start of the second T. Pritika Auto. So Pritika Auto, if people would have entered today, that would have been a great PBC entry, that is pullback confirmation. Now, pullback confirmation, why? Because this is 1T. So up, you don't know, Pritika is gonna break out after this directly. And if this happens, then your entry would be the breakout of the O'Neill pivot. If not, then ये करेगा, then will probably break out. That will be another entry. नहीं तो ये 30 बनाएगा, 30 में आपका ए बट मिलेगा. So those are the kind of anticipation. And the thing is, this is not even anticipation. ये पता है, मतलब flag ऐसे ही काम करता है, right? A worst case scenario, I mean, there will be another thing which is like, okay, let's get rid of this. There is another scenario which can play out, is that okay, the flag mast will be pointing down, and कौन सा होएगा ये आपको कल पता चल जाएगा, right? Sometimes it does like this, then this is your DTC entry. So the thing is, all of these things appear again and again and again. So this is the favorite guy, and made a lot of noise in the Twitter space, and I also tweeted about it. um, uh, yeah, sorry for the rockets, right? But the thing is, like, this was a really nice setup. This was a great poll. So much volumes in the poll. So that is number one thing you need to see, कि volumes कितना है poll में. Prior uptrend में अगर volume नहीं है, तो you don't, because there is no demand only, right? So, and this is also a very nice inverse head and shoulder pattern. We we got hit on this day. I mean, I got hit on this day. That this was my pivot, which was basically breakout of this previous pivot low. At that point of time, one could also make a case of like the base like this. I think this was my entry, because of a slanting base did not materialize, and after 3 days we had a huge breakout. So possibly tomorrow we will have another up move, and then this will be de-risk tomorrow, very close to de-risking. And we have a couple of other names which are not set up at the moment. So these are the high probability names. Okay, I'll take some questions now if you guys have any. Divyansh, you have your haath upar. Do you have a question? Yes, you're audible. Sure. Yes. Of course, of course, of course. Yeah, so like I have a couple of things which I look for in a good breakout. Or see, the thing is, like, first of all, though, you have to see ki, what are you trading? Are you trading a breakout? Are you trading a pullback? Are you trading an anticipation? And after that, like, okay, what is the kind of setup you are trading? Are you like, some people really like to trade one particular like pattern, right? So for me, that's not the case. What I have now grown into is, I mean, I always liked high tide flags and flags in general. So if there is a very nice flag setting up, that's a very good thing for me. I will probably trade that. And the second thing is, if that flag is also at the right side of a very big base, so that's like a sone pe suhaga, because I also like big base breakouts, because big base breakouts leads to like really long moves. I can show you so many examples. Probability of working is also higher. Big base breakout means that the trend is also very nascent, right? um, I because my account is very small right now, so I actually have a very small क्या बोलते हैं उसको requirement for market cap. But this actually depends on your size of your account, right? So if yeah, so I don't have like very strict this one, but in general I prefer things above 500 crore market cap, like sometimes. Yeah, yeah. So the one way to think about it is like, if the market cap of the company is uh, 10 times or like 50 times more than your total capital, I think that's enough, you know because you are anyways not gonna uh, like imagine if all your capital goes in that company. Would you be like a big investor in that company? If the answer is no, then it's liquid for you. And the actual liquidity, one can measure always. I always have this liquidity filter in my scans, is that total number of the volumes into price. That's the metric you need to look for. So let's say the 10-day SMA price and the 10-day SMA volume, if that is above your account size, and of a multiple of your account size, that's okay. So so yeah, a very long question is basically, I love big base breakouts. um, like for example, I'll just give you a small example, and this is a name I currently hold, which is cams, right? So cams was a big base breakout on this day where I entered. And and you will be appreciative of the fact that this is a big base breakout. You see? Yeah, so PDS Limited is right now like forming a flag, right? PDSL. So yeah, so this is also a big base breakout. So I would have really been keen to, actually, yeah, I think I highlighted this also a couple of times to my group members somewhere here, because this was a very peak pullback setup here. This was a breakout of a big base, and then this was pulling back here, right? So this was a great setup to enter. And right now this guy actually broke down from a VCP. And I think this is an example which I have in VCP breakdown. Oh no, DB Corp. So this will also go in here. So yeah, so yeah, so depends. Yeah, so it depends upon what trader you are, right? So if you're someone who is like fundamental, this one on this company, then you might be okay holding this, because your term is a longer term thing. And in a longer term period, this just looks like a usual consolidation after such a big move. So what you will do depends entirely on why you took the trade. So yeah, that's the thing. And yeah, I can go on. Thanks. Do you have any more questions regarding this? Hmm. Right. Yeah, that's a yes, there is a better way, and that is called charting. So charting also has like for example, what you can do is in a O level. So in charting you have scanners, right? So you can directly say that here. So this is a Minavini scan. So Minavini trend template. So as and when the stocks come in the scanner, you can say that I want a alert. So you can say create alert, and this is a paid thing, yeah. Or I think you can also go to the chart and possibly draw a line there. I haven't done that, but and if you are using Zerodha, yes, this will be more real time. And another thing is that I think Zerodha also has some kind of alerts, and they are also very very accurate real time. Mm-hmm. Okay, guys. Any other question? Thanks for the question, man. Seska Fabregas. Yeah. So Tata Power is a good breakout. This इसके ऊपर चला गया तो today would have been a good entry. So the volumes might look scary in this case because even in this 2 day pullback, the volumes were really high. But I think this large cap companies happen. There's like so much of trading going on, so one can excuse these. But Tata Power looks good, man. Along with Adani Power, they are like very similar, sort of almost like a sister stocks only. And Chesk Fabricas, CESC. Am I writing it correctly? हाँ आ गया आ गया आ गया. Yeah, so Sesk also had a breakout couple of days ago. So, so this was the breakout day. This was also the breakout on highest volume in the year. Um, so this was a very nice breakout um, from this base, and this is also like this is not a big base, but this is a decent base. At least swing trading के लिए तो 45 bars, like which is like more than 3 months, no 2 months, is a very decent base. And उसके बाद फिर it went sideways. There was volume contraction. There's everything was perfect, and today it again broke out. So yeah, I mean, if one would be a breakout trader, their entries would have been on this day and this day. Pullback traders could have entered here or here. But it looks really nice, and yeah, so many highest volumes in the year along the first uptrend, and then I think this has legs. Yeah, yeah. Also, yeah. Also, this is like a a big sort of cup and handle slash saucer breakout, which you like. So yeah, so this is really nice. Also always look at the volumes at the right side of the base. If the volumes are really high, माने मतलब पक्का. थोड़ा सा नीचे गया तो भी मतलब it's a very high probability that at some point of time it's gonna follow through.